I'm here in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, and today we're going to be talking about Vietnamese food, cost of living in Vietnam, and what life is like living here at the moment. So I'm Alex from Ninja Teacher, and we're about to head over for the interview, so let's go. Okay, hi everyone. I'm joined here by Calvin, and do you want to introduce yourself briefly?
Sure. My name is Calvin Bui. I am a chef and restaurateur here in Saigon, Vietnam. I've been here for 15 years. I am a Vietnamese American chef. What else can I say?
Maybe about this place?
Oh, I own a few restaurants. One of them is called CTY Kitchen and Bar. We do what I like to call reimagined Vietnamese food. Food that looks familiar, tastes familiar, but it is completely different than anything you've ever seen with Vietnamese food.
Oh, there we go, and here comes some of the Vietnamese food.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
So this is summer roast. This is gỏi cuốn, something you're gonna find at every restaurant. You can find it on the street. Here we reimagine it. We do what I like to call an everything gỏi cuốn. So the idea came from when I was living in New York, cooking there, an everything bagel. So on everything bagel, there's smoked salmon, there's capers, there's cream cheese, there's all the goodness. Well, I took all those same ingredients, but I also added a lot of Vietnamese elements to it. And a dish that I would say everybody here in Vietnam, all 100 million people who grew up with this dish, are eating it for the first time, but really reimagined. Now, Vietnamese food to me is not about one dish or the other. Like, it's not just about pho or bánh mì or even café, stuff that you find in the West. Vietnamese food is all about textures, flavors, ingredients, and really regional cooking. So this is not of any region. And the things that we try to do here is we try to invoke a memory that somewhere in life you've had something and it brings warmth, it brings happiness. I'd love for you to try this.
Yeah, I'd love to. What am I looking at with the reds there?
So that is beet cured salmon.
Ah, yeah, nice.
You got perilla, you got dill, you got cream cheese, you got avocado.
Nice.
All the things that you don't usually find in Vietnamese food.
Yeah.
But here, I really want you to try it, and you can tell the audience what you really think about it.
Okay. And in the sauce, what did you say was in this again?
The sauce is a sauce regionally found in Nha Trang. So Nha Trang is in the center part of Vietnam. It's a coastal community, so the sauce is made of pork and shrimp. You don't find that sauce in the north in Hanoi. You don't find that sauce here in Saigon in the south. You only find that sauce regionally in that center region.
This is awesome. It's really good. I like that it's got a lot of freshness in there, the avocado and all of that. Yeah, it's so good.
Thank you. Thank you. For somebody who's lived in Vietnam for how long now?
It's been more than 8 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so would you say that you are almost an expert when it comes to Vietnamese food?
I really like Vietnamese food, but I'm not a foodie, so that I don't like go into the details about exactly what I'm eating, and if it tastes good, then it's great. We need people like you to kind of share the intricacies of Vietnamese food with us.
Well, how often do you eat Vietnamese food?
Like almost every day.
Yeah?
Yeah, usually like one dish a day, maybe one Western meal, one Vietnamese meal, so a good mix.
What would you say your favorite Vietnamese dish is?
I really like mi Wang.
Oh, mi Wang.
Yeah,
That's
from
great.
Central.
Now, how much is mi Wang cost you when you have it?
If you get it in Central Vietnam, it's like $1, 40K, 30K, something like that.
What can you buy in the Western world for $1?
Like hardly anything.
Nothing. I think even McDonald's these days is more than $1. I think that's what the great thing about Vietnam and the affordability of being out here, right?
Yeah.
Food that's fresh, not processed, and you can really get a great selection of foods for $1. You're not stuck to one dish or the other.
Yeah, that's one of the things I love about it. And just going to all the little Vietnamese street food stalls and exploring all the restaurants is amazing. Is that what sort of brought you to Vietnam, is the food in general?
It was me wanting to know more about Vietnamese food. Although I grew up on it from the 70s until now, you only have so much in the Western world. And so one of my biggest dreams in life was to follow Anthony Bourdain and to come to Vietnam. And I came here 2009, and I haven't left. I still live here to this day.
Yeah, nice.
And I work here and I build here. Vietnam in general, no matter what city you get placed in as a teacher, you'll find that romance with the people, with the beautiful scenery, and the food.
So with Vietnamese food, you said you like doing this whole fusion thing, but how have you seen the Vietnamese food scene sort of evolve since you've been here since 2000 and you said 2009?
It's a long time. I've seen a lot more ingredients come to the market. I've seen a lot of farmers plant things that they usually wouldn't plant in the past, right? So we get beautiful garlic chives. Dill is abundant, yes, but avocados are getting so much better now. We're getting Booth avocado, stuff that you only find in California. There's a lot of great distributors who are bringing in higher quality meats, produce, fish. For those who are worried about, is the food in Vietnam safe? It's really safe. The salmon, of course, is not native to Vietnam, so we do have a distributor who brings in great Norwegian salmon. And if I have access to it, that means everybody has access to it.
And what would you say your favorite Vietnamese food is?
I really like a dish called cam tam, right?
Yeah.
So it's broken rice, a beautiful pork chop. You find a steamed egg loaf. It is great in the morning, in great afternoon, but it's so good. For some reason, it gets even more delicious at night. You can see these guys on the corner grilling beautiful large pork chops. The rice, the beautiful fish sauce. That to me, that is the most ultimate Vietnamese dish here in Vietnam.
And it's so good in Saigon too, like, in the north, Bun Cha, like central Vietnam, like Nie Wang. But here, I think that's what they do the best in Saigon, is the com tam.
I agree.
Yeah. Bun Thit Nung also is really good in Saigon.
Definitely. Now, what is Bun Thit Nung for those who don't know those words? I mean, you have a huge audience here who doesn't know what Bun Thit Nung is. What is
Just throwing out these terms, yeah. So it's like the vermicelli rice noodles with pork, spring rolls, usually has peanuts and a sweet sauce, the nuc mam, which is the fish sauce.
This
and
guy
a
is
few
good.
other ingredients.
This
you
guy
would know
is
better.
good. This guy is good.
What else is in there? Like there's some herbs.
Yes, perilla, cilantro, basil, a little bit of cucumber, a little bit of lettuce for the nice crunch. But dude, you nailed that. You nailed that. That's awesome.
That's one of my favorite dishes. How did you then come up with the ideas of going from Vietnamese-inspired food and then putting these twists on it to make it your own here?
Being that I've lived here for so long, and I eat Vietnamese food religiously. I mean, yes, I love a burger, and I make a great burger here. I love tacos. I got a taco shop. But there's something about Vietnamese food here in Vietnam. So when we hit the menu, we were really looking to see the stories to tell. We were really looking to see the old women who have these little carts. And I keep saying these carts because they're nothing more than four wheels that sometimes don't even go together. And it's a push cart. Entrepreneurship is so huge. What's great about Vietnamese restaurants is these places only serve one thing. Right? They serve one thing, maybe two things, but they do it so well, and they do it in volume. So there's a woman near my house who serves gỏi cuốn. Usually it's boiled pork belly, it's shrimp, and then it's, some like lettuce and some minor herbs. Something that everybody eats. From yay high all the way to adulthood, even to getting old. And I wanted to give the local audience something where, they can go, wow, this is something that I've never had before. But this is Vietnamese food. I love everything bagel. So I was eating the everything bagel in the morning. I looked over and I go, she's doing summer rolls. Why don't I put those two pieces together? It really is the evolution of Vietnamese food and how local food here has grown so tremendously.
Have you seen also a trend of more fine dining in Vietnam and like more high-end restaurants that are doing interesting things as well?
Yeah, I definitely have. Michelin just came to Vietnam 2 years ago. And now there are Michelin star restaurants, Michelin star chefs. I've seen the grassroots chefs who grew up in Vietnam. Father was a labor worker, mother was a homemaker. Somehow, some way, they learned passion. They learned food education. To see the younger chefs take these recipes that have been passed down from generation to generation and having them reimagine it using better ingredients, better techniques. Although the term fine dining sounds expensive, fine dining in Vietnam is about $80 to $100 per person. Now, to some, it's a lot of money. But that exact meal in New York or San Francisco, $325, easily.
Right.
And it's similar caliber. Yes, in the West, we have better ingredients. We have a lot of better things. But if you really want to experience, you really want fine dining, you can experience it.
Yeah, in my head, I sort of see the three tiers of restaurants, not even tiers, but different types. Is like street food, or super local spots where you sit on the little red stools and you know, eat out of a bowl. They just bring you the bowl. Like you said, they specialize in one thing. And then there's sort of like nice restaurants is what I'd sort of think of them as. It's not quite the fine dining, but just like really good restaurants, a little bit more pricey, but like great food. And then there's the fine dining where you go out for like a special night, right?
I agree.
And that sort of middle one, I think there's also lots of good restaurants now as well.
There's some great restaurants. And before the audience thinks that it's unaffordable, we're talking like $30, $40 for a very nice sit-down restaurant. I mean, it can go as low as $20. But if you really want something special, I go out every weekend to go eat, and it's generally $20 to $30 per person. You're really getting amazing food, kind of like this.
Yeah.
But this is only $7.
Nice.
This is only $7. So when you think about how expensive Vietnam is, it's not more expensive than Subway.
That's why places like McDonald's and stuff don't do that well here, because you know there's so many good options that are good food and reasonably priced.
Exactly. You'll find out there's a lot of $1 to $2 meals. You know, my first 7 years here, I lived on $5 a day. And I tell you that story all the time, right? I mean, it fed me 3 meals a day for $5. I know that for those who are coming to Vietnam for the first time, it can be scary. It can be nerve-wracking, the sights, the smells, the sounds. But I assure you, for somebody who both didn't grow up here, and we didn't purposely wear our black shirts today, but this is home for me now. I've learned the language, I've learned the customs, I've learned how to live here. Same as you, right?
Yeah, I would just want to eat a little bit more of this because it's so good.
And cut.
Hi, how's it going?
Hi, first time being on a camera.
Cool. What do you do here?
I'm part of the managing team, so I run the operation and do the events and sales, so on and so forth.
All right, cool. Is he a good boss?
Best boss in the world.
You have to say that on camera, right?
Come on. Yeah.
How do you felt living in Vietnam?
In what aspect though? It's
I know you only know
it's the
Vietnam.
best country in the world.
There you go.
Maybe we can talk a little bit about the cost of living because we were briefly talking about that off camera. And how much has that risen over the years? Is it still affordable to live here in Vietnam?
Yeah, let's talk about housing first, right? So you can get a studio apartment, fully furnished, depending on what area you want to live in, somewhere between 5 and 6 million. Now, sounds like a lot of money, 5 to 6 million. But in actuality, that's $200. When it comes to utilities, AC, internet, etc., I probably spend $20 a month for everything, okay? So that's your housing, that's your housing. Eating wise, if you can eat for $2 a meal, and that's 3 meals a day, that's $6. A coffee generally costs about $1.50, and maybe a few snacks here and there. All in, you're looking at $10. A total monthly budget of $300 for food. It's very doable. Okay, so you got that. What else do you need? Going out money? A beer costs $1.
Yeah.
Should I say it anymore? A beer costs $1. So you could have a beer, you could have a meal, and it will be less than a Big Mac back home. Not everybody's gonna drive when they first get here, so you're probably gonna be taking a third-party ride service. Usually those rides are no more than $2 or $3. So I'm gonna say you can live comfortably for $800 a month here in Vietnam. That's all in.
Do you think, like yourself, you know, having lived here a while, do you feel that you start to spend more on luxurious stuff, or do you feel like you can still live like that nice, simple lifestyle where you're still living well, but like keeping costs down?
It's funny, now that I'm less poor, I thought I would be spending my wealth differently. I thought I would be having Wagyu every night. I would be having, you know, nothing but the best, only Dom Perignon touches these lips. I still live the most basic lifestyle. You know, my apartment is $500 for a 2-bedroom apartment. My spending allowance for eating a day is maybe $20 versus $10. I do drink, you know, espressos. I do have cappuccinos. I have great lunches. But my all-in is still at somewhere between $1,000 to $1,200. I don't find that my quality of life has diminished through the years. All I found is that I find these little great pockets of places to eat at that serve me amazing food, whether it's Korean, Japanese, American, Mexican. And there's so many great cuisines on top of Vietnamese, and most meals are $10 or under. I can spend more, and I do travel a lot, but even then, I find myself somewhere in that 1,000 to 1,200 spot.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I think it's reassuring because people always talk about, oh, costs are going up. And I think it's very noticeable in Western countries at the moment. People are really feeling it. But here, I haven't really felt that much here. Of course, things go up a little bit here and there, but I also feel like it's still very affordable to live here.
There is a level for everybody. If you want to live quite frugal, you definitely can, and there's a market for that. If you wanted to go into that mid-market where you want to go to a few restaurants, you want to go have some craft beer once in a while, it's there. And then the ultra luxurious, those who really want to spend the money, it's there in Vietnam. But you'll find that everything that you need in life doesn't cost an arm and a leg.
Okay, so I just wanted to ask you a little bit about overall with your journey of moving to Vietnam. Do you feel like it was something that was worth doing in your life? Are you happy here? Like, is Vietnam the place you call home now?
Yeah. Listen, I've had some ups, I've had some downs. I've had an amazing journey for somebody who came to Vietnam. I didn't know the language. I didn't know the people. I didn't know the streets. I didn't know anything. I mean, when you can't communicate, it's quite tough. But over 15 years, a national television show, multiple restaurants, just a bevy of amazing experiences with the local people, with people from all around the world. It's the most fulfilling moment in my life to be able to call Vietnam home. And what about you? I mean, you grew up in South Africa. You somehow made it to Vietnam. Talk about your journey. Talk about your journey as a teacher.
So I also, am really happy that I'm living in Vietnam and really settled here. And I went from teaching English in South Korea as my first stop, ended up in Vietnam, really loved it here and decided to stick around. And I think I had such a good experience teaching English and living here that I wanted to help other people do the same. And that's sort of why I started Ninja Teacher as a company that trains and helps other people move to Vietnam, because I think it's an experience that even if it's not forever for everybody, then it's something they can do for a year or two and just get to experience Vietnam, all the things we've been talking about, have that chance to live here and really try something new, be in a new culture, new place, and really embrace that.
I love how you say, 1 year, 2 years. A lot of people always think, Vietnam's going to be the end all. It's going to save me, it's going to cure me. Listen, the world is large. But when you have a skill set like teaching, you can take that anywhere. And there's always a group of, whether it's kids, teenagers, even adults, they want to learn how to communicate with the world. And that's how the world communicates, through English. So you are able to touch these individuals' lives and have a hand in their journey. I think that's one of the coolest things in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so too. And and just being able to come experience Vietnam. So any last words you'd want to share with someone that would be potentially interested in coming to live in Vietnam?
What are you waiting for? I mean, honestly, what do you have to lose? Some good laughter, some great memories. What are you waiting for? Sign up today. Email this guy. Make sure that you go onto Ninja Teacher and start your career. Start this new life challenge and get your Tessel.
Tefl.
Yeah.
Tessel. Thanks for the kind words. You didn't have to say all that, but I appreciate it. And this awesome place, and I really enjoyed the spring rolls. So if anyone wants to come check it out, CTY Kitchen and Bar.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Cheers.
All right. See ya.
All
See
right.
ya.